Hey guys, I'm Emily Serrano, founding branding and marketing manager here at Zig.AI. Today we're back with another episode of Take 5 with the founder. We're here with our founder and CEO, Steve Ancheta. Steve, we're finally in the same place at the same time for once.
Yeah, I know. It's not on the split screen this time.
Well, today I just wanted to really get into how Zig came to be. I want to know what our origin story is and what gave you the idea to build Zig.
Zig actually came down to like the last probably 3 years of my life. So about 3 years ago, I had an idea that I wanted to build essentially what was a CRM that was going to change the way that customers thought about CRMs. Issue that I came across was number one, the CRM market's really crowded. It's also not the most exciting. You're a system of record. You're essentially a big database. How sexy can that really get? And the cool thing was the timing, right? I feel like the timing was just really, really good with the developments in AI. And as it started to make its advancements, I realized that what AI is essentially doing is it no longer is focused on just databases and systems the way that software is. It's focused on execution and action because AI can do that. And that idea that I landed on ended up becoming Zig.
We went from being a database storage to basically being this execution layer for salespeople and how to accelerate, automate, make the entire sales process a lot smoother, faster, everything a salesperson would want. How did that transition come?
I don't think that it was on purpose. I think the way that it came was it was mostly around what would I want if I was a salesperson? If I was still in my account executive days or my sales engineering days or my sales management days, what would I want in what I believe would be essentially the perfect software? Like what would allow me to do my job better? Because I know I'm good at what I do as a salesperson, but what could make me get, 3x output of myself? And so that's kind of how that shift and that transition came, right? I
Mhm.
mean, how many salespeople get excited to use their CRM? Not many that I know, but I've always known that if there was something that could allow me to move faster, allow me to understand which customers I should reach out to when, something that could write my own emails, write my emails in my voice for me and let me kind of not have to take the time to type them out. If there was something that could just do that and be my assistant, what would that look like? And I think that's really what we honed in on when it came to Zig.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just became land and expand. Like you start figuring out more and more of, okay, well, what comes next in the process? Then you tackle that. Then what comes next? And then you start looking at other products that are on the market that maybe have some shortcomings and downfalls and saying, hey, can we build something inside of Zig natively that can do some of that and patch up some of the shortcomings or downfalls? And so that's kind of how Zig has continued to develop and grow and, get more advanced to what feels like on a weekly basis.
100%. I feel like that's one thing we are constantly changing, growing, expanding from one week to the next. The platform is constantly evolving. That has a lot to do with our team comes from a team of sellers who have different backgrounds, come from different industries, but to its core, knew how to point out specific pain points in the sales flow that didn't just land in one industry. It affected sales across the board. And you spent years in sales. Tell us a little bit about your background. What were kind of some of those moments that you thought to yourself, like, shit, we're all living the same struggle? I wish there was something that could help here.
Yeah, I think it came down to like I ran my own sales companies for roughly 10 years of my 16-year career. And we had things that we were dealing with all the time, right? And I always just chalked it up to maybe we're us being a smaller company. 'Cause, at our peak we had about 40 salespeople. So I'm like, maybe that's just what it is. But then I started talking to friends and colleagues and contacts of mine who ran much bigger organizations, right? They were VPs and CROs at these much larger organizations, and they were dealing with the same shit just on a kind of a different playing field, I guess. And when I realized that, I'm like, well, there's a lot of common denominators. It's not, the industry doesn't matter as much. It really just came down to like, as the team gets bigger, the struggles just change, right? As tools are introduced, now context switching becomes an issue, and now your salespeople have to consistently and constantly be retrained. Most tools that I've seen are built for more management, like stakeholders. I wanted to build something for the actual end user, the salesperson, right? And to your point of, our company is a lot of, blue blood sales guys. That's true, yeah, on the go-to-market side. And then equally on the other side, I think what's equally, worth mentioning and important is our engineers are just fucking badass. Like we have engineers that can essentially build anything, right? They can tell you yes, they can tell you no very quickly if something's possible. And we have those conversations every couple of days is, hey, look, this is a problem that we're getting feedback on. Is it possible to fix this problem with X? And then they say yes, or they say, no, that we can't fix it that way, but we could fix it this way. And I think that's the most important thing. I think if there's like one common denominator, it's feedback loops are everything. And I think that we take our feedback loops really, really seriously. We're constantly talking to our customers multiple times a week to see what enhancements can be made. Even if it's something about the way a box pops up on a user's interface, in my opinion, that's the type of shit that builds really good companies. And you don't want to lose that. And so I think that for us, that's a really good best practice that we've done inside our organization.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely think like you are so big on feedback because you've lived through it. You definitely lived in the trenches. Right now, when we're in this period of POVs with our customers, you're very open and receptive to feedback. We've even just recently hired a customer success engineer. And how do you feel like even adding that position has changed how we approach changing and transforming the platform?
Yeah, at this stage, like what Superset has always kind of in drilled into me and instilled in me since the very beginning of them backing us is velocity is everything at this stage, right? And that is 100% true. The only way that you can move with velocity is a couple of ways. Number one, listen to your customers. Essentially, the market's going to tell you what's important and what's not important. Like the biggest mistake that a lot of founders make is they overbuild thinking that it's something that their customers are going to love. And then it gets out to market and nobody gives a shit, right? That happens more often than not. So listening to your customers and making adjustments on the fly and quickly so that there's not a lot of lag time, right? Your customers and our customers, I feel like understand that we're refining and perfecting constantly and we're going to listen to their feedback. So they feel equally heard and equally included in the enhancements that we make. With that being said, outside of velocity, it's like sometimes you're going to ship something and it in theory it's going to be good, and your customer tells you, hey, I kind of don't like that feature. I kind of don't like how it's doing this or it's doing that. And then you just go back and you just say, okay, cool. What adjustments can we make to make it a more valuable experience? And then you make, you push those adjustments. So that's huge. And honestly, I think the reason that a lot of companies struggle with that at this stage is they silo GTM and product and engineering from each other. So GTM is doing one thing, product and engineering doing another. There's a lot of lack of communication. And then, I mean, for us, even before our CSC, Andy was here. I mean, how many calls are we having a week between everybody, right? To make sure that everybody's on the same page. We're all in sync. Engineering and product are on the same page with sales, and sales is on the same page with marketing, and marketing's on the same page with everybody. And so everything from messaging to what's shipping is all synchronous. And then we brought a CSE in to essentially be that kind of focal point in between all of that. And it just has increased the velocity exponentially and even in the short time. And our customers love it because now we have given them somebody dedicated to them to make sure that what they're asking for is being done, right? And so, yeah, I think it's just one of those things where, like, at this stage, customers are equally a part of the team as much as the Zig employees are. And so my goal is to carry that with us as long as we're able to and as long as we possibly can, and make sure that customers, whether it's now, whether it's a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever it is, that those customers are very deeply ingrained into not only their journey as customers of ours, but our product journey as we continue to enhance the product.
Being that, we've been on this wild ride for the past few months, if you could give advice to a new founder, what advice would you give, having had this experience over the past few months, and how has kind of your mindset shifted since when we first started?
Build it, get it in front of customers, get feedback as fast as possible. Like, don't try to sit in a lab and there's this whole thing of like building in public, which, I do, versus like stealth building. Some guys want to stealth build. Like, don't stealth build. Don't ask VCs to sign NDAs. Like, nobody gives a shit about your idea. Ideas don't actually make good companies. Chances are there's other founders out there that are doing exactly what you're doing. You're going to have competitors right out of the gate. So velocity is everything, number one. And number two, getting in front of customers and getting that feedback to really refine the product in front of those customers is way more important than trying to perfect a product in a lab. And I think that if there's one thing that I can talk to other founders about when I do speak with them, it's essentially move fast with intention and get it in front of customers or test cases or use cases. Create your own internal business case, kind of your own case studies, but with the market. Don't ask your buddies, does this sound like a great idea? Because you're always going to hear yes. Where you're really going to hear if this is a good idea or not is from the public, is from the market.
Yeah.
And that's going to allow you to make the right adjustments at the right time. And right now, with the level that AI is at and how many companies are focused and honed in on it, speed beats everything else right now. And the only way that you could be fast is to get out into the public and get that feedback. That's point blank, period. And make quick decisions. I wake up every day feeling like if I'm taking hours off, then that means there's another founder who's not taking hours off and moving faster than I am, and I'm not going to allow that. And now I think the team is all at that level as well. So that has, as a group, we're really not we're in kind of that pole position right now, and we're not letting anybody overtake us, which I think that's how good companies are created.
Yeah, I think the name of the game is definitely how adaptive can you be and how quickly can you kind of, flip that switch from being reactive to changes to how can I be proactive across the board. But it was really great getting to talk to you today. I think we definitely have given our viewers a little bit of insight on how and what we're building. I'm excited for us to show the world how Zig continues to transition, elevate, and just come out.
Yeah, so the other thing is we get to do a couple more of these in person before you get back to our hometown of LA, and you'll be up in the Bay for a little bit. Which the Bay's awesome, by the way. Look at this.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
You can't be mad at a beautiful view.
Yeah, yeah. No, this place is awesome. I've fallen in love with the Bay. Obviously, LA is my home, but where I grew up.
Clearly, we can't
Yeah.
let go of LA.
Yeah, clearly we can't.
Zig rep,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can't let go of LA.
Yeah, but I do love it up here, and I understand like why people move up here to build. There's nothing like it, and so
Yeah, we'll say the energy is definitely unmatched up here. You can definitely feel the excitement and just like
100%, 100%. Well, I guess we'll do this again soon.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
Thanks.